Well, it's that time again. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the interview with Craig Veltri.
Thank you, Megan Pennington, and welcome to the interview. Our guest began as a child actor in his native New York City, most notably performing as Gavroche in the Broadway production of Les Miserables. He has gone on to build his notoriety as a composer, TikTok star, and critically acclaimed singer-songwriter. His latest single, Like Me and Follow Me, which we will play at the end of this episode, is a quirky yet foreboding analysis into the addictive nature of social media and the parasocial relations therein. Recording in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and calling in from Shepherdstown, West Virginia. Here he is, Jordan Siwek. Jordan, welcome to the interview.
Hello, everybody. And thanks for having me.
An
I really
absolute
appreciate it.
pleasure, if only for discovering your music and what a career you've had so far up to this point. We'll get to the TikTok, we'll get to Like Me, Follow Me, we'll even get to the Christmas music in a little bit. But let's begin at the beginning. Because you got your first real credits really began not only on Broadway and Les Mis, but also with the NBC television network, with Late Night with Conan O'Brien and SNL. The way I understand how television shows and theater productions locally, they do tend to go for the school of the arts kids first. And that would be my guess at how you got the opportunity. Am I on the right track, or were you just a typical run of the mill NYC public school kid?
Well, I was lucky. I was very fortunate, and I appreciate those experiences and those opportunities. And really, I'm lucky that I happened to be living in New York City at the time. And like basically, it just kind of things fell into place, and I actually was like a public school kid. So but after a lot of those experiences, Les Mis and SNL and stuff like that, which were basically from like 9 years old to 12 years old. That was like my heyday. and
Oh, brighter
but
horizons ahead for you, sir.
but but yeah, and so that experience,
Well,
so
how did
after
it come
that,
about?
I went to LaGuardia High School, the Fame School, which was an arts
Right,
school,
yeah.
and I studied drama. But it actually made me want to pursue music.
Okay. How much of it was residual for you staying on stage however many nights a week singing Do You Hear the People Sing, which was the decided climax of an already loaded song list and beautiful songs and among the great performances every theater aficionado, I think, and just people in theater who do musical theater would dream of that gig, and you got to do that night in night out. How much of that being a singer was that was kind of like, okay, let's zero in on this aspect of it, maybe not the acting portion of it, but this, because Les Mis is an opera, but let's zero in on the singing.
Well, I will say that that experience, that opportunity to be a part of that musical specifically, was it had a huge impact on my life and why I'm a musician, why I write music, why I play music, why I sing. So, but it was interesting because obviously I sang as a kid on stage. On that part, I had five solos, and one of them was 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 a death scene.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like five short little songs throughout the
Pivotal
show,
part of the
and
story.
yeah, and so but yeah, but basically that was a pivotal moment that shaped me to, just love music and just to be around those Broadway singers and the orchestra and the whole thing and the musical motifs. I mean, I wasn't really that aware of it at the time and how much it was going to impact me, but it really, really has.
Being a kid in that kind of adult world, do you think it prepared you better than others, perhaps, for a career in showbiz?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think definitely, I still think about that experience every time I perform, whatever kind of performance. I just recently had a couple shows. Um, and basically the idea that no matter what, the show must go on, and if you make a mistake, you got to keep going. And nobody will know as long as you keep the flow of the show. And another thing I learned is that if you have a strong start and a strong finish, then people tend to fill in the middle parts.
It is a good lesson in human psychology and memory with that in mind. Do you ever get kind of at the point of like if you're doing shows at like the bitter end or anywhere else in the village or anywhere else you may be playing, is it do you ever just kind of just like, dude, I was on Broadway at 9. This is nothing.
No, I never really think about that in that particular way. Like I'm always kind of a little nervous, especially when it's like me playing all my original songs and all the songs, and I do get a little nervous. Like, I hope I remember all my lyrics. I hope I play all the right chords, and plus I am a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to music, which
Right,
we'll get to a little later with the recording of the new song.
for sure.
But yeah, definitely. I mean, uh, that experience, but yes, it has given me confidence, which is nice. But I'm always a little nervous, I guess.
Well, you mentioned that you would go on to LaGuardia School, the fame school. Were you writing piano or learning piano before you got there?
A little bit, a little bit. Yeah, I don't remember the exact age, but around the time I was in Les Mis, maybe a little bit before, a little bit after, I started to just play piano all the time, and I started just kind of like making up my own melodies and like improvising. That was like, sorry, I don't know if you can hear the piano, but
Oh, I can hear it just fine. Yes. Thank you.
that was one of the little melodies I came up with as a kid.
Very Baroque.
But yeah, so yeah, like I would sort of come up with all these things, and then I started to learn how to read music and learn how to read chords. And I had a piano teacher, Jessica Karp, who taught me how to play all the chords. And actually, I work for her now. She has a music school, Jess and Friends, and I teach at the music school. So, but she sort of opened me up to, and then I was just then at that point I was just reading through books of sheet music and just playing music and just loving music.
Hmm. That's a lot of the way I learned to play guitar. My dad used to have easy piano books, and he used to have the chord diagrams for guitar. So I was able to kind of pick up that way, plus the lessons that I had up to that point. So, note to self, parents, if you have a piano in the house, keep some music books in there. You never know if the kids want to start tinkering with it, and you never know. We might have future superstars on your hands, and you won't have to worry for anything. We're here with Jordan Siwek on the Craig Veltri interview on Scarfire Media Podcast Network. For more on Scarfire Media, go to scarfireradio.net. Check out The Flame. Check out the Indie Musicians Catalog, among many other great things on that website. follow and subscribe to the podcast network as well, whatever service you're having, so you don't miss any more drops of the Craig Veltri interview, The Lucky Pad, and The Mothership, Fire Pit, among many others. Now, let's fast forward a little bit to your solo career. The last record that you did, Sun Inside of You, was a wonderful, uplifting. It was sunny all the way through. And it's been 7 years between that record coming out and this current single. Um, just to be frank about it, what took you so long?
I know. Well, I guess being a perfectionist, I guess just, you know, I don't know, like during the pandemic, I got really disjointed, and then I was focusing more on like like the TikTok stuff and the social media stuff and doing cover songs. And but I think the main thing actually for why this particular song took so long is I was kind of waiting to find the right producer to do it justice. Which I did. I was connected to Jimmy McGorman, and he actually plays keys for the Goo Goo Dolls live now. And
Love the Goo Goo Dolls.
He's worked with Weezer, with the New Radicals, Michelle Branch, and Avril Lavigne, and he's out in California. And when I was out there in January for the NAMM show, the big music convention,
Right.
I went recorded with him, and he was a perfect fit for the song. I mean, being also that he's a keyboardist, also he's a piano player. He really got it, and like my old producer that I worked on the album with was a little bit more like, I don't know. He was like he thought piano solos were like old fashioned or something, or like, I don't know. It just wasn't as good of a fit. So so like in for this song particularly, for Like Me and Follow Me, I love the song so much that I wanted to make sure that it came out the best day it could, and also have like still stay true to the roots of like the blues piano stuff that I do on the
Right.
song, but also for it to sound contemporary.
It did kind of have that late 90s to all the way through the 2000s. A lot of those lifts that kind of reminded me of Gavin DeGraw's "Oh Chariot" at
Oh,
some
cool.
point.
I love Gavin DeGraw.
So it was certainly, the production is noted, and it definitely shows, considering all the people that your producer had worked with. But the other comparison that I would draw it for is "Welcome to the Internet" by Bo Burnham, which is a satire piece, but it also has the same kind of damning indictment of what the internet and social media really has done to us as a society. Yours is a lot more of an earnest take on the state we're in as far as what social media has brought. And it's incredible coming from a person that is now gained some newfound notoriety. It's kind of a chicken and the egg kind of question. Did the fame of that you found now beget the song, or is this something that's been knocking around your brain for decades at this point?
That's a good question. I wrote the song in 2019 before I joined TikTok. So yeah, some of my friends are like, "Oh, like you like manifested the TikTok followers having 700,000 followers from that song." And I was like, I never really thought of it that way, but sure. But it's interesting how that worked. And then, but the interesting thing about that song is that I started writing it when I was going to all these open mics in New York City, and everybody was like me, follow me, I'll follow you back, and all that stuff, and exchange, and trying
Sounds like a
to
Nashville
connect.
writers round.
Right, right. And just so like I sort of like initially wrote it kind of as like a joke, as like let me kind of like make 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 light of everybody's obsession with being liked and selfies and all that stuff. But then the song and the meaning of the song sort of changed for me a little bit. It kind of evolved a little bit during the pandemic, where social media became really, like, in many ways, the primary way of connection, especially for me and my music. I was doing live streams on Facebook and Instagram all the time, and then I joined TikTok the middle of 2020, and then I and really the whole TikTok thing, it came out of me being stuck inside, not having anywhere to play, and I was just like scrolling on TikTok for multiple hours, and then I finally saw like, oh, people are duetting these piano videos, and but that's such a cool way to connect, where we can't meet in person. And so that ended up um being my thing, and my first viral video on TikTok was my piano karaoke version of Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh wow,
So,
ambitious.
and that really took off, and that was back when the TikToks to duet needed to be under a minute.
And why did you decide to throw your hat into the ring, so to speak, and doing those karaoke videos?
Because I was bored, and I wanted to try it and connect with people. I mean,
Right.
that's what I realized, actually, especially during the pandemic, especially during quarantine. I realized that, like, really, like, social media is really about connecting with people and supporting each other, and it's not actually about like, oh, look at me, how awesome am I. And what and I learned firsthand that once I made the shift from like just promoting my music to like, let me make piano content for other people to sing with and to let them shine, then my account started to really take off, and then I was able to get 700,000 followers.
To that question, because at this point you have 17.4 million likes on TikTok alone. You one of the videos, I believe it was the Sam Smith, I'm not the only one. By the way, beautiful tone on the piano you have on
Oh,
that
thank you.
video. The That video alone has 12.4 million views or so.
I know, that's crazy.
Twofold question on this one. Have you found people that you have collaborated with since on that karaoke video? And because I can't resist a little Schadenfreude, how often do you get people like the other side of American Idol that cannot carry a tune if they tried?
Frequently. so 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 yeah, I get a lot of duets from singers that, it doesn't sound great, but they're enjoying it. And it really makes them happy. And for me, that's that's amazing validation. I mean, I used to, back in the day when I had all this free time during the pandemic, I used to listen to almost everybody's duets and just be like, this is so cool, they're all singing with me. And now I don't have time for that anymore. But there's also been some really, really good ones. And some really great singers that I connected with. There was one really cool duet. I did a piano karaoke of My Way by Frank Sinatra, and this incredible opera singer sang an operatic version of My Way. And and this was a professional who, because of the pandemic, was stuck inside and on his phone like everybody else, and actually had the time to do that. I mean, that probably wouldn't have happened if not for the pandemic. So
It's what a great way to, as Bo Burnham said on the Inside Special, what a wonderful way to stay inside, if I can turn his phrasing on it.
yes,
We're
yeah.
here with Jordan Siwek on the Craig Veltri interview on Scarfire Media. For more on Scarfire Media, scarfireradio.net. More updates coming later on in the episode. Just stick around for the update calendar, and also for advertising inquiries, scarfireradio@gmail.com. One of the highlights, among the many highlights in your discography, is Meet Me Under the Mistletoe, the duet that you did with Bridget Ellsworth. How did that come about? Was it an opportunity to do a Christmas song? Whose idea was it? How did the song appear?
So that's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. So Bridget is my wife. We
The
we
cover art
wrote
kind of suggested, so thank you for clarifying.
yes,
It's a
yes.
it's a it's a
We
drawing of you holding a cat, her holding a dog. It's very charming.
Yeah, and that song started out, I think we wrote that all the way back in 2016 December, and basically we decided to write that song because Bridget didn't want to sing Baby It's Cold Outside. She thought it was like
I
too
figured that
lame.
might have been the case. Oh my gosh.
It was like she's like, I don't like that song, and we should come up with our own holiday song. We could write our own holiday song. And so she started writing about, as I walk down the street, every house I pass is a tree, and I wish that you had a tree to decorate with me. That was like what she wrote, and then I just like had this idea to like make verses about Hanukkah and how like as I light the menorah, I don't want to bore you. Uh, uh,
So you are in fact Jewish, and she is in fact a
yes,
Gentile.
yes. So I guess it's kind of like a humorous look at sort of the two the two cultures and religions, and but the idea that we're meeting under the mistletoe, and that we're and then at the end of the song it's like, like I got her a tree and she got me a menorah and she made latkes for me, and so it's like a sweet little and yeah, like, and the truth is, music is like the main religion that I have, and
Mm.
so we were able to connect on that for she's a music teacher also, and it's the first song that she ever released. So, and that was such a fun song for me to write, for us to write. It was great.
That does beg the question. It might make an interesting spin, because usually anybody who has a Christmas song in their discography, I must ask if for their favorite traditional one. But I'll still ask this, so you don't celebrate the holiday. Do you have a favorite Christmas or perhaps holiday song?
Well, I would say the jazzy ones. I would say my favorite is probably the Charlie Brown, Christmas Time Is Here.
That entire soundtrack is must have in any household around the holidays for sure.
Yeah, that one, and I guess probably the Drifters version of White Christmas. I really like that one too. Yeah, yeah.
Dreaming of a ride. Done done mostly with their bass vocalists.
Yeah.
I always love it when the low end gets some love for sure.
Yeah.
So you've done so much. You're Star is well established on social media. This song is already has a behind the scene video currently on your social media. The song
Yeah.
being "Like Me and Follow Me." Are you releasing a full music video of this song? What does the rest of the promotion look like for that particular
Yeah.
song?
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably be releasing a music video at some point. Right now I'm trying to get the budget for that, but I have a music video for my song "Lover and a Giver," which that's also a very special song for me. That's the first song on my album
Great
from
song.
from 2018, but it really feels like it could have been written today because I talk about all these dark things and then put a light spin on it and try to make darkness into light with that song.
I said it last week with my guest Shelley Duff as a quote I think is attributed to Tom Waits. I love it when beautiful melodies tell me horrible things. So it's definitely something that you are very quite skilled at. And as far as you mentioned that that's a song off of your previous record, is there a new full length record coming on soon on the back of Like Me and Follow Me, or is this just a standalone single and we're just going to be expecting singles from you for the indefinite future?
Well, I'm actually not sure. I'm still figuring it out. So hopefully there will be a second album with Like Me and Two Roads, and I have a few more meaningful songs that I have to record and share with the world. I have a song that's about my dog, about my rescue dog, and it's called "You." Like here
Please, please.
I'll do it. Yeah, like that's yeah. It's like the best thing I ever did was rescue you, but the truth is you're the one who rescued me.
Oh,
And it's all like lyrics about the dog and how the dog makes me feel so good and melts away my stress and stuff.
my
So
mom has adopted rescue dogs. The last four dogs that she has had over the last 20 or 30 years at this point. So I think you just became her favorite singer at this point, is what I'm trying.
yes, and then I have a song in memory of my father uh that's called "Thank You for All You've Given Me," and it's a song about gratitude and about uh just just expressing how grateful I am. So, and then there's another song that it's called "Turn Around" that I feel like has a lot of good potential, like an Elton John style song too. So,
Well, we have a nice way of closing here on the Craig Veltri interview, Jordan Siwek. It's called the No Kidding Questionnaire, a couple of rapid fire questions. First thing that comes to your mind whenever you're ready, and away we go. Childhood celebrity crush.
like from when I was a kid,
Yeah.
Jasmine from Aladdin.
I admit, to quote the genie, what was it about her? The hair, the eyes, anything. Pick a feature.
Oh, the eyes, the hair.
I'll be honest. It was mostly the midriff. Favorite subject in school.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Favorite subject in school, probably history, English.
Okay. I think that, both have a lot of overlap for sure. So if you can get a lot of the great historical novels like Les Mis, for example, you can really get a better shot of it if it overlaps. Did you have a preference of let's stick with history. Did you have a favorite topic in history? And with with English? Were you more on the creative writing side, or did you actually enjoy sentence structure?
Well, I love the creative writing, obviously, being a writer now, and especially in college, I was in this awesome creative writing class where everybody wrote poetry and short stories, and then we would all read the poetry and read the stories that each other wrote and discuss them as if they were classic literature. It was a really cool moment. I was like, oh yeah, like yeah, like the respect that the students had for the other writers was really cool, and that really inspired me as well. But yeah, I would say in history, I was always fascinated by like ancient history and like the like the ancient civilizations and like Rome and ancient Egypt and I was just always really interested at like the origin of like civilization and yeah. Um but yeah, but everything really.
What occupation other than your own would you like to attempt?
Um that's a good question. I would say maybe secret agent.
Secret agent. Uh, I would assume then that would make you a fan of the James Bond series of movies.
Yeah.
Who was your favorite Bond?
um Probably the original is Sean Connery.
Sean Connery. Technically, James Coburn gets the credit for being the original Casino Royale,
Oh, right.
but
That's true. And
the
I also really like Daniel Craig as well. Yeah.
he grew on me at the end. I still think he would have been a better cast as a Bond villain
Mhm.
as opposed
Yeah.
to as Bond himself. But I think he carried the weight pretty well. Bond 26 is in production at the moment. Do you have any in-house favorites at the moment going to become the next James Bond?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm more into the following the new Superman movie. I'm a big Superman fan.
Hmm.
So my entire I mean talking about social media, for some reason like half of what I see on my Facebook is all about Superman or Batman, which is I mean it's kind of nice, but sometimes it's too much. I'm like, why? Like I don't need to see that much about the new Superman movie before it comes out. But
Uh,
anyway,
I will say this as a fan of the marvelous Mrs. Maisel, I really am excited for Rachel's turn
me
as
too.
Lois Lane. I think she's going to knock it out of the park.
Yeah,
Um, Not to say I didn't like Kate Beckinsale, not to say Margot Kidder is untouchable, and not to say Terry Hatcher had her moments as well, but
yeah.
I just am a huge fan of her work so far, and I really think
So actually, to answer your previous question about who my childhood crush was, uh, Terry Hatcher in Lois and Clark.
ah.
That's
uh,
maybe a little better than a cartoon.
we can reverse engineer this show, so we can't. Um, but so I'm I've seen the portraits of your wife. Was that the reason you went for a brunette as a wife?
Probably.
Uh, well, on the other side of the coin, back to the original line of questioning, what job, I don't care how many bags of money are handed to you, would you never want to attempt?
um, so I'd probably never want to be president or go into politics because
Uh,
it seems like no matter what you do, half the country will hate you. so, so
I've summed it
that's
up.
something I would never want to do.
I've summed it up like this: even when you win, you can't win.
Yeah.
Uh, what is your go-to food on the road trip?
Well, I love pizza. I love so if it's like on a road trip, like that kind of thing. you know, it, uh, well, my favorite food of all time is sushi, but
I
I don't know
love
if
it.
that's really on a road trip type situation, but it might be this.
I've heard it said you unless you're sticking to the ocean,
Yeah,
you might be okay if you're just hopping to sushi places, but if you're in Omaha, maybe not.
yeah.
Um, uh, being you started off with pizza. Are you a ride or die New York City pizza forever, or have you found pizza better in your travels?
No, New York City is the best. I was in Italy one time for a week, and obviously the food in Italy is unmatched. Um, but I would say for the U.S., I would say you can't beat New York City pizza. Plus, it's also the the slices are so good, and you could get a slice for like under $3 or something. And like where else now? Like it's just like if you're on a budget and you're in New York City, like that's like the best thing. I mean, I'm not saying eat pizza all the time for every meal, but it's certainly, and it's just really good
Hmm.
in New York.
Best one that I had was when I went to New York City last year with my father. We were in the Village and we found this place about a block or two from the bitter end. Actually, I think it was called Grandma's Pizza, and
Yes,
that was the best one. We went to like five or six at that point, but and that was the best that I found. So, can you
yes.
recommend anywhere else if I went for anybody that might be heading from New York?
There, there is. It's a little more expensive, but it's really good quality from the from the artichoke pizza, but the margarita slice from artichoke pizza is like one of the best I've ever had, I think. And it's like it's a little more expensive than the other slices, but it's like huge also. It's like you only need one slice. You don't need more than one slice. So, but
And
it's
where is this pizzeria?
there there's one location actually near the bitter end on McDougal Street. And then there's a couple other locations like around Union Square as well.
Well, now that we built up a healthy appetite, dinner with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
Whoa. Um, maybe Robin Williams,
Oh,
maybe 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 John Lennon. If we're talking about alive, Stevie Wonder's my hero.
Robin Williams made me want to be funny, and as you probably figured out, I will never touch that, and I don't think any other human being will come close to him in that aspect. But
Yeah.
Beatles fan, absolutely. I think I've said in this one, I'd love to get all the Beatles together for a dinner. Stevie Wonder is the first one, and that's and he's still out on tour. Did you catch him on this tour? Have you seen him live yet?
I saw him live in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center, I think like 2016, and then I actually saw him be being interviewed by Janelle Monet at the ASCAP Expo in Hollywood
Oh
in
wow.
2017, and that was really cool. And he would just randomly break into song on a keyboard and stuff. But I would say the Beatles and Stevie Wonder are my are like I would say like at the top of my list, and then obviously like Elton John, Billy Joel, Ben Folds, who
I love Ben Folds.
um Ben Folds was a big influence on Like Me
Hmm.
also.
He's one of those guys for me that I wish I'd gotten sooner. I've said on this program many times that Billy Joel is kind of my North Star as a writer. If he could do it, so can I. As far as just the styles that he played with throughout his career, Paul Simon as well. But Ben
Yeah, Paul.
Folds, that's a guy that I had heard of. I'd heard Army, I'd heard Brick, but for whatever reason, I didn't get into him until I was like in my mid 20s. I feel like I missed out because it would have explained a thing or two, and it would have been. People have said that like the energy of, and maybe you've been to one of his shows. I can't say for sure, but going to a Ben Folds live show is tantamount to going to a metal concert, but it's a lot more joyous and a lot more friendly to the ears. Can you confirm that?
Well, actually, I've seen him twice, like spaced apart by like 15 years. So the first time I saw him, he was with a band, and it was a very memorable concert, and it had a lot of energy. And then the second time I saw him was recently in Brooklyn, and he was playing solo. But it was a request concert.
Hmm.
So he called it a paper airplane request, and they would write down and they would throw paper airplanes, and he would play the songs. And for some reason, a lot of people requested his slow ballads.
Hmm.
So he was like, "Yeah, really, I'd play another ballad." But that show also had a great energy, and just all of his music has a really great energy. And actually, I would recommend, if you're a fan of Ben Folds, he has an audiobook,
I've
which
heard
is
it.
like
Great.
a memoir, lantern bugs or something like that,
It's been a while.
but um but I listened to that whole audiobook, and that was really interesting. And then as I was listening to it, I was also, you know, um listening to his music and his full albums at the same time. So I was kind of like really getting a feel. And he's had an interesting life, and he has really interesting songs. And he's and like I said, that was definitely an influence on my song Like Me, how he's a little snarky and sarcastic and funny, but also like with these crazy piano solos and stuff. So
He's definitely a great range of emotion, and I just appreciate the humor in everything. Even a song like Brick, where he just pours it out, but the wordplay is still so clever. And he's I've grown to adore the man. Even if I owe a couple of people of apologies for not listening on their recommendations at the time. Moving on to the questionnaire, you're a New Yorker. I'm sure you have a mile long list, but what is your biggest pet peeve?
what is my biggest pet peeve? Let's see. Let me think about that.
See?
I would say people that are too quick to judge and label and
Look, I'm sorry. I wrote off Ben Folds, man. Sorry.
and criticize. Yeah, I think also being too critical of music and art and movies and people that's like hard work put into it. And I feel like it's so easy to like be a troll. And I guess that's a little bit like in the Like Me song. I have a line about the troll too, that you're only trolling if you're feeling lonely.
Mm.
But yeah, um, but I think the world would be a better place if we learn to communicate better and appreciate each other without judgment and coming to conclusions. And just to, I don't know, I feel like people should just make more of an effort to like understand each other and respect each other.
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with constructive criticism. I was listening to Anthony Fantano, who is an internet reviewer, and he very rarely goes for the throat on any of the people that he does. He quite frankly says, "This is why I didn't like it. This is why where he missed the mark. I see what this person's doing, but I didn't like it." And that's okay to say too. It's not, nobody's going to bat 1,000 as an artist. Nobody's going to bat 1,000 as a human being. Not everybody
Yeah.
is going to like you. That's perfectly fine. But to be outright out on Main Street, just saying and sometimes my favorite, retire or die, I will I've never give space to anybody that puts that much negativity into any of my fellow travelers as an artist. So I'm with you on that for sure. Last question
Yeah.
officially of the questionnaire: what is the best advice that anyone has ever given you?
Be true to myself and trust my decisions, which is still a hard one for me. I still don't know. Um, I'm very indecisive. I have another song called Two Roads that's about being indecisive, and that is available on Spotify as a piano and cello song. But I'm probably going to be re-releasing it as a full band production at some point this year, probably. But yeah, but but basically, that was a good piece of advice. That like just like trust yourself. You know, but there's been a lot of things that I learned along the way, but I think being authentic, and I feel like having an appreciation for life. I
Mhm.
feel like just to like appreciate like the good things, I feel like is really important for anybody.
For sure. As I've often heard it said myself, to thine own self be true. So,
Yeah.
indeed. To clarify, you mentioned in the interview that you have taught music. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. My day job is a piano teacher.
So, with that knowledge, every teacher on the Craig Veltri interview gets a bonus question in this questionnaire, which is
Oh,
as follows: not the best advice that you have given a student, but what is the most common advice that you find yourself giving your students?
slow down. Play it slower. Play it correctly and slowly first, 4 times or more, and then eventually, then you'll speed it up, and then like I think one of the things that people struggle with playing an instrument, and why people get frustrated from piano lessons, is that they're trying to play something too fast and they're playing it wrong, and so but then they keep playing it like that. So what you're doing then is you're practicing the wrong way, really, if you do that. So but if you slow it down and make sure it's accurate and methodical, and then it also kind of like the science behind it too is that your brain is connecting with your fingers
Muscle
in
memory.
a yeah, muscle memory in a very, and if you slow it down, it has more time to make those connections as well.
Slow down, you move too fast.
Yeah.
Well, with that, Jordan, we have a wonderful way of closing as well. It is the favorite part of the show for all of my guests, at least it should be. It is now time for shame self promotion. Like me and follow me. Where can we find that song? Where can we find you? So perhaps we can like and follow you. Fire away.
Yes. So Like Me and Follow Me by Jordan Siwek is available on all streaming platforms. Um, and My Instagram is Piano Jordan, and my TikTok is also Piano Jordan, and I'm on YouTube as Piano Jordan Siwek. And the other thing I want to promote is that my album Sun Inside You, even though it came out several years ago, I'm very proud of it, and it's going to be new music to most people who aren't familiar with it. And I worked really hard on that album. And one thing I wanted to promote about that album is that I still have vinyl records and CDs, and I'll autograph the vinyl record and CD. It's on my website, which there's a link on all my socials about that. So, and I'm also on Facebook, Piano Jordan Siwek.
Jordan Siwek, one of the best songs in general that I've heard all year, and it's been a joy getting to know you in this hour and getting to know your music over the last week that I've been preparing for this interview. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Craig Veltri interview.
Thank you, Craig. I really appreciate that.
The Craig Veltri interview, where Craig Veltri interviews wonderful people, is a production of Scarfire Media, the voice of the independent arts. Written and edited by Craig Veltri. Your announcer is Megan Pennington. The opening theme, Shut Up, I Love You, written by Trenton Chandler and Craig Veltri, performed by Craig Veltri, produced by Jack Gavin. The Off the Row Sessions EP is available now on streaming, and the limited edition vinyl LP for Letters to the Defendant is also available still. Just send $35 for the LP to Venmo at Craig-Veltri, Zelle, CraigVeltriOfficial@gmail.com, or Cash App, $Craig Veltri. Here are the nice people who are playing Biloxi at the moment. musicvideohype.com, my music video channel, The Ranch with Randy O'Neill, Exposed Vocals, The Chubb Show, Jazz's Rock and Road Show on Music the 412, and of course, The Mothership here on the Scarfire Media Podcast Network, Fire Pit. Time now to update the event calendar, because you must know where I am at all times. Friday, July 4th, I will be at Tin Roof, Memphis, full band show. Craig Veltri and the Vagabonds ride again from 10:30 to close. Then the following day, July 5th, I will be by my lonesome at Tin Roof, Memphis on Beale Street from 3 to 6:30. Back to Nashville, Tennessee on Monday the 7th, Big Jimmy's Nashville on 2nd Avenue from 12 to 3. Then that evening on Monday the 7th, I will be a part of Debbie Champion's Writer Showcase at the Commodore Grill in Nashville, Tennessee, right by Vanderbilt. Get it? Commodore in the Vanderbilt in University. My round will be beginning at 6:30. Thank you again, Debbie, for having me back. For full dates, go to craigveltri.bandzoogle.com. For booking info, including full band on this podcast, email me at craigveltriofficial@gmail.com. You can find the interview on Facebook by searching the Craig Veltri interview, YouTube at Craig Veltri Music, TikTok at Craig Veltri, and you can find me on Instagram, or as my old roommate, the Tommy Thomas, used to call it, Instagirl, at Craig.Veltri. With special thanks to Danny Felt. For Jordan Siwek, I'm Craig Veltri, and this has been the Craig Veltri interview. With that, I'll pass. Here's the latest from Jordan Siwek, a song whose instructions you should definitely be using for the purposes of myself and my compatriots here at Scarfire Media LLC. Here is Like Me and Follow Me on the Craig Veltri interview, proud member of the Scarfire Media Podcast Network.
Liking me is what sets me free. Like me and follow me. That's why I work so hard on my new selfie. Like me and follow me. Yeah, say goodbye to my privacy. Oh. But if you psych me out and you strike me down, well, you're only trolling 'cause you feel alone. Secure like me, wonder if you're an attention whore like me. At the end of the day, at the end of the night, everybody just wants to be like me. Like me and follow me down the rabbit hole of curiosity. Like me and follow me. Search for me until you find a fantasy. Oh.